Coach, welcome to today's press conference.
Awesome.
Thanks for joining us.
Of course.
8 days between competitions, a little bit unusual mid-season. Can you just talk to us about what your week's been like and what your prep's going to be?
Yeah, a little bit of a reset. It came at a really good time for us because they start back to school. So, it's odd that you have your bye week the same time as you have your big Monday. They got an unprecedented 2 days in a row off, which they really enjoyed. But it got a chance to get them started back in school on the right steps. We had the injury with IT, gave us a chance to address that, which we can talk about as we go. It probably came at a good time for us. It gives us a little bit of a catch your breath, and now let's get rolling with the rest of the SEC season and then hopefully a postseason to follow. It's a challenge. None of us really have ever been through one, so we don't know whether we're doing it right or wrong yet, but we'll find out.
You just kind of talked about it a little bit, but could you give an update there on Galden's injury?
Sure. It wasn't as bad as we'd feared. Anytime somebody goes down and doesn't return, you fear those worst three letters of a basketball player. But that's not what it is. She had some surgery, and we're expecting her back sooner than later.
So just kind of knowing the history of Tennessee, do you think in some of the ladies' minds that this is one of those games that they've circled on the calendar?
Well, if you follow the events, we're going to be going into Knoxville on We Back Pat night with them on the longest losing streak in the last 49 years. I'm anticipating we're going to get their absolute most focused, best effort you could have. So, hey, welcome to Knoxville. I think we played really well here last year. And we were in that game down to the last possession. I think some of the things that we weren't able to do last year we're capable of doing this year. So, I don't think our group will be worried about the history of it. I know as coaches we're all going, okay, this has never happened. What's it going to be? I watched the game last night because Alabama and Tennessee are our next two opponents, so that was a good game for us to watch. But, I think our kids, this group in particular more than any group I've ever coached, they worry more about themselves than they do what's going on. They really do. They want to know names and they want to know tendencies, but they don't get caught up in a lot of what happened last year, what happened last week. They really don't. So hopefully they can put that behind us and we as coaches can move on past it and hopefully not bring it to their attention too much.
Yeah, you talk about that Alabama-Tennessee game. What was Alabama doing that was kind of able to throw Tennessee off and that maybe you guys can exploit in Knoxville?
Well, Alabama was able to rebound with them. They've got, great size at every position. Their point guard's 5'10", and she's the smallest player on the court. They've got two 6'1" wing players, a 6'3" 4 player, and a big kid inside. So they coaxed Tennessee into perimeter shots, and when they missed, they rebounded it, and then they ran, and then they made shots. I think we can do two of those three things. I don't know how big we're not going to be big enough to out-rebound them like Alabama did. So we'll have to do something different, but I do think we saw some things that we kind of knew already, but Alabama certainly exploited them. Now, at the end of that, Alabama made shots. And that's what you have to do to be able to play with those guys, especially in Thompson Bowling. But, I think our kids, like I said, whether they watched it or not, they will understand the game plan and know what we need to do, and that's rebound it. And our effort's been pretty good. We had our guys practice squad back yesterday for our first practice of the year. And, whoops, I apologize. Back for the first time all year. And so that upped the rebounding effort a little bit because you simply have to try harder. And it was better. So if we can do that, I think we can go down there, and I'm confident where we're at as far as shot distribution and shot selection. So we'll have to make a few. But, for us, I would like to tell you we're at the point of our program where you look at Tennessee and you circle that as a win, but, not many people have been able to do that in the last 49 years.
Mike, about more than halfway through this year, with the newcomers this year, even those that were here last year but weren't able to play, how have they helped you guys reach last year's win total already? And has it allowed you to coach differently this year than last year?
A little faster, yeah. We don't have to, last year everything I said was new. Every terminology, every drill, every thing that we did, every standard that we talked about was new. This year it's not. So we're able to move a little faster. I think it got us ahead. I still go back to the Italy trip a lot. I know I go back to that a lot, but that allowed us to get a whole bunch of stuff out of the way ahead of time before we ever started keeping records. So, the fact that IT and Chelsea were here last year, really gave them a chance to not be newcomers from day one. That helped Lex, I think. I think it helped Rowe. And as a result, I think we were able to move a little quicker. We're able to go a little bit deeper. I heard Coach Morris talk a lot about this year about the percentage of their playbook that they put in. Some of that's similar to us, too. We still didn't have all of our attack in, offensively and defensively. And now I think we're a little deeper in that. I'm really pleased with how we're playing defensively. I think at times it's kept us in some games. We've been able to turn some people over at a higher rate than any team I've ever been a part of. And I like how we're settling in with our rotations. So we are certainly ahead. I think the win total reflects that. Our RPI is a lot higher than it was this time last year as well. So, I look at all that stuff that comes out, all that bracketology stuff, and, we're on the bubble or in the next 4 out, or it's going to be a crazy year. So you look at it, you pay attention to it, but you don't dwell on it. Yeah.
Just to kind of clarify, do you expect IT won't play tomorrow?
No, she won't. Yeah, it's going to be a couple of weeks. Yeah, it's a couple of weeks.
And then, so how does that, again, put Mal back into that situation of what do you anticipate her role increasing to, or what's the strategy there?
Well, if y'all hadn't noticed, Mal doesn't like it when I take her out. Okay? It doesn't take a body language expert or a seasoned veteran to realize when I take Mal out, she and I aren't on too good of terms. But I've felt like all year long, Mal at 35 minutes was better than a Mal last year at 40 minutes. I still believe that. We may need her for 37 or 38, but she's in great shape. I mean, there's no question she can do it. We'll slide Mason over there. She's always one of our steadiest decision makers for 3 or 4 minutes here and there. That may mean, Chelsea brings the ball up the floor a few times and Mal's just off the ball, even though she's in the game. The only conversations we've had with Mal on what that changes is she can't get that one kind of silly foul that she's been getting this year because she knows she can play with a little bit more aggressive. She can go for a steal out on the floor. She's become a shot blocker now too. If y'all haven't noticed, she's tried to block some shots, which she can't do anymore. She probably needs to have one less charge. We need her on the floor. Her value of being on the floor would be more valuable than the steal she could make or the charge she could take. So maybe a mindset change. I don't know. Physically, there's nothing. She can play it all. And it may change our rotations just slightly. I think in practice, too, they've been going head-to-head against each other. And they've made each of IT and Mal have made each other better. So Amber Ramirez will have to really step up. She loves games after the games and practice. That's her game day. So she'll be fine in filling that role.
I don't know if you've noticed, but the last game against Vanderbilt, Mal had 9 assists. That was a season high for her. So
no turnovers either. Yeah, she'll be fine. Believe me, she will be fine.
thank you.
Hey, thanks everybody.